Dr. Elise Hart had seen hundreds of animals pass through her clinic over the years, but something about the ginger cat in Kennel 12 pulled at her chest with a weight she couldn't explain. The cat had been brought in the day before, found limping under a park bench, soaked to the bone with a splint of trash wrapped tight around its hind leg. The shelter had named him Toby, but no one knew where he came from. His eyes were wide and weary, a cloudy green dulled by pain. The shelter worker's voice had been matter-of-fact. Fractured femur, no chip, no owner, budgets tight. Vet approval for humane euthanasia requested. Dr. Hart had signed such forms before, each time with careful thought, a heavy but necessary mercy. But when she crouched beside Toby's cage, he didn't shy away like most frightened strays. Instead, he raised his head slowly and met her gaze, unblinking, quiet, as though trying to tell her something without words. She stayed there longer than she meant to. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. In the stillness, she whispered, almost to herself, "You've still got fight in you, haven't you?" That night, she cancelled the form. She didn't have the budget to treat him, but she brought him home anyway. Chapter 2. The Long Night. Elise's house smelled faintly of chamomile and lavender, the remnants of her late mother's favorite soaps. She lived alone now, save for a three-legged tabby named Marlowe, who'd long since given up protesting new guests. She set up a quiet corner for Toby near the fireplace. A heated blanket, a bowl of soft food, and a low bed with sides. A small haven to mend in. He didn't move much that first night, but his eyes tracked her with eerie attentiveness. Surgery had gone well, considering the risks. Pins in his leg, painkillers in his system, but it was too early to say how he'd heal. Still, when Elise came down before dawn to check on him, she found him alert, his tail curling gently at the tip. "You made it through," she said softly. His ear twitched. She reached out and stroked the back of his head, surprised by how easily he leaned in. In the days that followed, something unspoken passed between them. She worked at the clinic by day and nursed Toby by night. She began speaking to him aloud, not baby talk, but real words. She told him about the weather, the patients at work, even the book she was trying to finish. He would blink slowly at her, always listening, always present. On the fifth night, he purred. Not just a low rumble, but a steady, rich sound that filled the living room as she read aloud. It caught her off guard. She had forgotten what it felt like to be needed by something so small. Chapter 3. The Empty Collar. The day Elise found the collar, she nearly dropped her keys. She was sweeping the guest room, preparing to shift Toby's resting area now that he could hobble on three legs. Under the dresser was a faded leather collar, worn and cracked, with a heart-shaped tag barely hanging on. It read, "Toby, if found, call Margaret, 555-0192. Elise stared at it. Toby had no chip, no tags when found. This collar had clearly been off for a while. Her fingers trembled slightly as she dialed the number. It rang 3 times. A woman's voice answered, brittle but polite. "Hello? Hi. This is Dr. Elise Hart. I think I have your cat." Silence. Then a quiet gasp. Is he ginger with a white chest?" "Yes." There was a shuddering breath. "Oh God, I thought he was gone. It's been nearly 3 months." They agreed to meet the next day. That evening, Elise sat with Toby and watched him sleep. She should be happy. Reuniting lost pets with their people was the best part of the job, but her chest ached in a way she couldn't name. Chapter 4. The Visit. Margaret was in her early 70s, her grey hair tied back neatly, eyes rimmed with the weariness of long worry. The moment she saw Toby, her hands flew to her mouth. "My baby," she whispered, sinking to her knees. Toby stared for a beat, then limped forward with slow recognition, leaning into her palms. Margaret broke into tears, holding him with the reverence of someone who'd nearly given up hope. "He slipped out during a storm," she explained. "I searched every day, posted flyers, called every shelter, but weeks went by." Elise stood back, unsure what to feel. Watching them together felt like watching a door close. Margaret looked up, eyes glassy. Thank you for saving him." Elise nodded. "He saved himself." She packed his meds, his little blanket, and watched them drive away. The house felt hollow that night, the bed by the fire empty, no gentle purr as she read. She told herself it was the right thing. Toby was home. But in the quiet, her heart whispered otherwise. Chapter 5. The rain returns. A week passed. Elise tried to fall back into routine. Morning coffee alone, clinic shifts, evening silence. Marlowe curled beside her as usual, but something had shifted. Her eyes drifted off into the fireplace. She caught herself reading aloud with no one to listen. It rained again the following Thursday. That same cold, needling kind of rain that had fallen the day Toby was found. Elise stood by the window, her fingers curled around a mug that had gone cold, and felt a strange pressure behind her eyes. At dusk, she heard it, a soft, rapid knock at the front door. When she opened it, her breath caught. There, soaked and shivering, was Toby. He limped inside without waiting. His fur was plastered to his sides, and a fresh scratch ran along his flank. But his eyes, those steady, searching eyes, were locked onto hers. He had come back. Chapter 6. The truth in the fur. Elise dried him gently, tears sliding down her cheeks as she worked. He didn't flinch, didn't resist, just sat there and let her wrap him in a towel, the way she had that first night. She called Margaret at once, but the voice on the other end was tired. "I know," Margaret said quietly. "He was only eating a little. Spent most of the time staring out the window. I thought maybe he needed more time. But this morning, I left the door open a moment too long, and he was gone." "I'll bring him back," Elise offered, throat tight. There was a pause. "No," Margaret said gently. "He chose." Elise held the phone in silence, unable to speak. "You gave him something," Margaret continued. "He waited for you. Maybe that means something. Maybe he's where he's meant to be." That night, Toby slept curled against Elise's chest, his purring louder than ever. Chapter 7. The fire burns. On the fireplace glowed steady, casting warm flickers over the walls. Spring crept in slowly. Toby's leg healed stronger. He limped, but with grace, and he began exploring the house room by room, as if claiming it for the second time. Word of his return spread quietly. The clinic staff smiled knowingly. Clients asked after him. Margaret even visited once, bringing his old blanket and leaving with a hug that said more than words. Elise didn't question it anymore. Some hearts find their way back no matter the odds. In the evenings, she still read aloud. Only now, a ginger cat nestled beside her, tail wrapped over his paws, eyes half-lidded in perfect contentment. She had saved him once, but in the quiet moments, as the rain pattered softly against the windows and the fire crackled low, she knew the truth. He had saved her too.